Hey, what's up, guys? Alright, today we are going to attempt to replace all the seals in a Blackbird air tube, hopper air tube, with no cuts, and while I eat sunflower seeds. So, for brevity's sake, we're just focusing on the Blackbird right now, and I don't know, I doubt we'll make one for the 30-round stick mag. So, first of all, the seal that most likely leaks is your front valve seal, and you need to take this valve seat off to get to it. You can use a straight screwdriver for this. Make sure it's wide enough, and I would use a wider screwdriver than this, but what you do is you push that pin in and then you can loosen it. This is my second choice bit for doing this. I can't find my wider one right now, but this will work. As you can see, I've cut out a little groove in it to go around the pin. And this one's really tight. Okay. Yeah, if you don't have one wide enough, you really risk stripping those that slot out. And then we have, the way this comes out is we have our valve seat, our valve, your spring, and then there's a seal in here somewhere. Sometimes that seal will get stuck on the inside there, and it can be quite challenging to get out. It'll often get stuck to this washer. But yeah, I've had it to where I could have sworn it was out, and it wasn't. And I put another one in there, and then it leaked. Took it apart again, and that seal was squished almost as flat as that washer. Yeah, it's a good idea to use like a toothpick messing around in here because of magnetization. Now this seal is the one that tends to leak, and this is what that is. I'll take a picture of this, or not, because I'm not doing any cuts. It's part number UC70007. Yeah, and that is from the O-Ring store, and it's cast polyurethane, the 70D, or the Duro, whatever it is. Size is 5/32 ID by 9/32 OD by 1/16 cross section. Now, they make these O-rings in several different materials. You don't need cast polyurethane unless you've got a Superbird. They also make it in Viton. And if you put a Viton seal in here, you'll probably never have to take it apart ever again. It's just that Viton won't work with the Superbird's extreme fire rates. But if you've just got a stock Blackbird or you know, a 30-round stick mag that you're using with a Bumblebee or something like that, the Viton seal will basically never wear out. What happens is this seal, especially if this is all left pressurized, it gets squashed flat, and gas gets pressed into it, and when you relieve the pressure, it's just like a diver getting the bends. The gas will expand. Same goes for all these seals. That's why you're not supposed to leave them pressurized. All right. Now, this is your valve seat. Sometimes this O-ring seal around here will leak. So what we're going to try to do is find replacements for all of these out of a kit from Harbor Freight. And don't know if we're going to be able to do it for this one. And I think you're going to have to order, wait a minute. Yeah, this Harbor Freight kit has these 007 seals in it. That'd probably get you by a little bit. These are I can't remember what you call these seals, butyl. But yeah, there's your 007 seal for the valve. So if you just had like a stock Blackbird and you picked it up and it was leaking, and you just wanted to run some CO2 or 1,000 PSI through it, you could try one of those. Let's see. Let's see about this one. We're probably going to have to stretch one to get that to work. Whoa. This is usually where I lose a part and it flies across the room. Okay, well that did not stretch very well. Okay, next side's up. I gotta get a light. So this is a 008 or 9. I'll take it back off and we'll be able to find out. I'm just doing a test fit. Let's see if it'll go down in there. Yeah, I really messed my usual bit. Looked all over for it. My trailer's an absolute mess. So yeah, that would work to seal that. I'll figure out which size it is. That's the 009 seal. So we got that one figured out. See if the 009 works on that too. Okay, so 009 also works on that one. Now these down here, I had a red kit, a Imperial O-ring kit, and there was a size in there that I could put on here and it would work if I doubled them up. But I used up all of those O-rings, and recently I had to find a fix for these, and I got it out of that kit, and it was just a single O-ring. And they were not as fat as this, but it did work. The trick with getting this to work is not cutting the seal when you put it back on. What is this? So this is a 110. That's going to be too big, I already know that. Go with the 012. I think this is the one that I used before, almost 100%. Yep. So that is the 112. Is that what I said? 012. Alright, and that will seal. Now, I heard somewhere that, calling this a seal is not correct because this doesn't move. But this would be our only seal. These other ones would be bushings, I believe. Alright. Let's see what we got in here. This usually doesn't leak. Let's go with our 110 again, because that looks about the same size. See how it protrudes there? Now you might need to use a little bit of silicone grease to help it slide in there. But you can feel it make contact with the sides. And yeah, that is a perfect fit. So the 110 again. So that is all of the seals for the hopper air tube. Oh, yeah, I'm about to forget. Now, this is your valve seat, and your valve seals on an internal seal. Where's my... Right in here, this is a seal. It's another one of those cast urethane, or bushing rather, because it doesn't move. Well, I don't know. It could be a seal because the valve doesn't slide on it, but it moves like that on it. And what happens is when it moves away from there, gas is allowed to go. This is sealed right here. Like the end of this is sealed with that 007 seal, and there's high pressure all around here. So when the solenoid strikes it and it moves, gas is allowed to go in there and out the front. So this seal between the valve and the valve seat is broken. Now, when that happens, you can get a little bit of air going back out the end that the pin comes in. You can often feel this on your hand when you shoot. That's where that's coming from. And this seal, we're going to call it a seal, is held in with metal bushing. This little metal bushing is the shape of a top hat without a top to the hat, and it's flared out here, and this flaring is what holds that seal in, and then it is pushed through this hole, and it's basically pressed in there. If your solenoid is too far forward, you can actually knock that bushing out, and it'll pop out and pop back in, and then you'll take it apart and you won't be able to find why it's, you know, pouring out air until you catch it to where it hasn't popped back to normal. But I've never taken one of these apart to replace that seal. But you can. You just have to knock that bushing out this side very carefully, and then the bushing comes out, and then the seal comes out. And I would say it looks smaller than a 007, so that it looks to be the 006. quite frankly. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that, but it's covering up that space perfectly. So yeah, this material would probably be fine for this, but like I say, that looks like cast urethane. So yeah, there you go. Now the way you would get this back together, I've knocked that bushing out before. Put your new seal in there, put your bushing back there, press it in, make sure it's all the way in. Make sure that you've got it on something hard, and then re-flare that to where it expands in there. Sometimes when you put a new valve in, it won't seat quite right with this because your old valve has made its own impression in that seal. Yeah, and when you get it back together, you can look through the BB hole, and sometimes you'll have a dent and it'll be on the bottom there, like totally back together, like before you even took it apart. Look through the BB hole right here with a light or something and look for a dent on the bottom of that, because you'll be able to see the end of that. And when you put it back together, what you can do is take a pair of needle nose pliers. Not all of them will work, it's got to be real needly nosed, but you can grab that pin and move it around and actually twist your valve so it's back in the original location where that dent is at the bottom. Alright guys, I think that horse is dead now. Later.